This is part of the reason why I never released an album, because I like to change sounds a lot.
Mhm.
And I think it's really nice for an artist as they grow older and have more experiences and write more
Mhm.
songs. What I feel is happening in the world, not just with the
Mhm.
pandemic, but also with also connected to the pandemic,
Mhm.
the digitalization of all our communication. You know, I was a part of that. Like, I've grown up. I'm 33 now, so I've seen everything. Like, I used to make CDs when I started making music.
Yeah.
And it's the same with performing. Like, if I perform in here and I'm all emotional, I'm feeling the song, and then people at home are sitting alone and they're like clapping, and then the song is over, and then maybe the show is over, and I turn off the camera, and I'm just like here alone, and I question, like, did I just do something?
What's up, James?
How are you, Ferry? I like your CD rack behind you.
Yeah, there's a lot of old CDs, old music CDs, and I like your hair though. That's cool.
Thank you, man. I got a new hat today, so I have to wear
Oh.
it. I have to wear it during the interview.
And right now I'm with James Hersey, who just released his brand new album called Fiction. I heard that Fiction is your first full album. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. After 10 years.
After 10 years.
Crazy, huh?
Wow. So you have mini album, you have EP, but this is your first full album.
Yeah, I have a bunch of shorter bodies of work. I made singles, I made EPs, I made one mini album, like 8 songs. I've always really liked releasing shorter things.
Mhm, mhm. And one of your latest songs is Closer, which featured electro-funk duo Chromeo. And what makes you choose Chromeo? What's the story behind it?
Romeo, I think, is like the modern funk gods of our time. And I wanted to do something that sounds classic, but not just make something up myself. You know what I mean? So I thought I'd find the guys that are doing it the best right now. So we hooked up. I came to Los Angeles and we got it done. I'm actually in LA right now.
Oh, you're an alien.
Yeah.
Okay, and Chromeo makes this song has like an 80s vibe in it, which is quite unusual for you. Do you plan on trying a new genre or something?
No, I think it's just for that one song. But maybe we'll do something else in the future. This is part of the reason why I never released an album, because I like to change sounds a lot. And I think it's really nice for an artist as they grow older and have more experiences and write more songs, to be able to change direction a little bit. Whenever, like as a human does, you know, you feel different as you grow older. Yeah, man, and this is like one exploration into that.
Do you live in that era, 80s songs, or maybe?
I think I grew up mostly with like music that was a bit older than that in a different genre. So I was really like singer-songwriter of the 60s and 70s. Bob Dylan, Jerry Garcia, James Taylor.
Okay. And what's this song about?
What's the song Closer about? Well, it's supposed to be a song that reminds me of how painful it is to be away. You know, like a part of my life as an artist is to travel and have different experiences, which really helps me as a person and as an artist. But the truth is that the person I love, like, I can't just take them along with me. So I'm always apart from them. So I wrote in the song like a bunch of basically different ways to say I love you, and tied it into a chorus about togetherness. And for me now, the song has gotten greater meaning, like about the togetherness during COVID time. You know, it's not just about traveling; it's also when we're all stuck so far from each other, we can't visit. Like I wasn't able to see my family for such a long time. You know. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have plan to collaborate with another artist alongside of Chromeo maybe this year?
I have nothing coming this year. Maybe I was thinking like around the holidays to do like a mini EP, but I have to talk to my record label and see if they'll let me do it. Because there's rules once you start once you have a record label, you know. But otherwise, collaborations, I don't have anything planned right now. No, working with some friends to write songs, but nothing huge.
Okay, so how's it going, man? I mean, the pandemic changes everything. Do you have any song related to pandemic, or maybe the pandemic has given you more time to write another song, or maybe something? What do you do on this pandemic?
Yeah, so for me, like the beginning of the pandemic I was halfway through finishing the album,
Mhm,
and also halfway through like developing the album. So I
mhm,
feel like as much as I love the songs on the album, I think there could have been some more exploration that happened in that time, but we couldn't do it because we were forced to not see each other for such a long time.
mhm.
That was the first thing that the pandemic like did, right,
Yeah.
for me, which was just like change my entire album plan. Then it took away all of touring, so there was no more traveling.
Mhm.
But there was some interesting songs, like the song "Souvenir," which was on the album. I
Uh-huh.
wrote about like finally this feeling that I finally want to see my girlfriend again in like the freedom of taking vacation and flying somewhere, like
Mhm,
to see her on
mhm,
the beach somewhere instead of
mhm,
just at home all the time. Because I know what a beautiful person, you know, and we've all had relationships and friends where we had to stay home now in the pandemic, I guess, or see each other in that situation over and over again. And I just think it's nice to see people in a different environment sometimes,
mhm,
to kind of
mhm,
get like see them for who they are in a different light, you know.
mhm.
Yeah.
And um, um, so let's talk about your album. Can
Sure.
can can you tell me more about fiction? I mean, the process, the inspiration of this album.
Definitely. um well, I started writing the songs a few years ago. I didn't have any goal like to make this fixed album until 2019,
Mm,
like at the end of 2019. I was like, okay, now we're gonna start recording this thing. And I pretty soon, like once the pandemic started, came up with the name Fiction. I was like, I really like this name Fiction, because it sort of describes what I feel is happening in the world, not just with the
mhm,
pandemic, but also with like also connected to the pandemic, the
mhm.
digitalization of all our communication. You know, I was a part of that. Like I've grown up.
Yeah,
I'm 33 now, so I've seen everything. Like I used to make CDs when I started making music.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like behind you,
Mhm,
and then it became completely digital. And now it really feels like this job that I do, like I question whether or not it's really real, especially when you're not allowed to go on tour. Like everything just
mhm,
happens
mhm,
online, so everything happens virtually all the time. Even this interview, like it's really nice to see like a natural face on the other side, you know. But it's not the same as being in the same room together, you know. And it's the same with performing. Like if I perform in here and I'm all emotional, I'm feeling the song, and then people at home are sitting alone and they're like clapping, and then the song is over, and then maybe the show
mhm,
is over, and I
mhm.
turn off the camera, and I'm just like here alone, and I question like, did I just do something, or did I like what do you call that? You know, like
Mhm, mhm,
if you're like seeing me play a show through your computer screen,
mhm.
you're watching it, but you're not experiencing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's right.
So in that sense, like this dichotomy of fiction and reality, I wanted to play with that. That's why I called the album Fiction.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. And actually, I know you from Miss You. That's from 2016, maybe
16, like September, you know, I think
September.
August.
And I want to know who's your favorite singer or band that influenced you to be a singer.
My biggest influence to be a singer as a kid, I really liked Michael Jackson. I really liked
Ah,
Queen. I
mhm,
really liked the Beatles, especially Paul McCartney. I was a really big Paul McCartney fan. And then
mhm,
later on, I played in a lot of different bands, and I particularly looked up to Julian Casablancas from The Strokes, and then
mhm.
eventually to John Mayer, a solo
Oh
artist.
man.
He was such a good guitar player, and I wanted to be a
Mhm,
good guitar player as well.
mhm,
And I actually went to study jazz guitar for a couple of years, and then stopped to become an artist. So a lot of people
okay.
along the way, like, and also there's guitar players, Joe Pass, John Schofield, um, Mike Stern, who influenced the way that I play. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of influences there.
Okay. And what's your plan next? I mean, after this album, what is your plan?
Yeah. So right now I'm taking 6 weeks in Los Angeles to write new music. Um, it's such a beautiful place to come, and there's so many songwriters out here. So I'm just meeting with people from the industry. On the one hand, I want to write new music. On the other hand,
Mhm,
I want to talk about what I just spoke about with you, which is
mhm, mhm.
what's happening with the industry. Like now that everything is really digital, are we gonna see any more live
Yeah,
touring like the way we
that's
did
quite
before? You know,
interesting.
in the
Mhm,
United States, there's a lot of live shows right now, but also
mhm,
people are getting sick from COVID. So I wonder how that's going to continue. And then also, I'm looking for a way to like reconnect online, because I feel like
mhm.
Instagram and live streaming is just not maybe my best place, and
Okay.
I need to
Mhm.
find a new way to approach communicating with my fans. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't feel anything if you just do it online.
Yeah, you don't feel anything as an artist. It's strange, you know. Like it's nice to play one or two songs, but once you start to play like a lot and have to film everything, it just
Mhm.
becomes bizarre, you know.
It has a different vibe, right?
Totally, like
Totally.
it's like a different flavor, you know, the whole thing.
Mhm. Thank
Yeah,
you so much, James, for having me in your invitation today. Hopefully, you can stop by to Indonesia and have a show in Indonesia in the near future.
I would love that, man. I want to play a lot of shows in Indonesia. Thank you so much for your time, Perry.
Thank you, man. Have a good day. Stay
Have
safe,
a
man.
great, have a great day. Be safe.
I just want you closer. 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 Sunrise out my window.